So I want to start with where it all began. You are obviously a pioneer, as we saw in the video, as people knew. The number of people who came up to me through the last couple of days saying, I can't wait till Martha's here. Martha's now here. The inspiration that you've provided for all of us, top YouTube creator, really extraordinary with your reach. So I found over the years that focusing on what happened in each of our lives before the age of 16 gives us real insight into how we became who we became. So what was it in your life before the age of 16 that in any way would have given us that understanding of how you became the extraordinary leader you are?
Well, we lived, a family of 8, lived on a modest little street in Nutley, New Jersey, within commuting distance of New York. There just happened to be a beautiful ballerina model living on my street who noticed me, and she said, you know, you should be in New York modeling. This was when I was about 13 years old. And I would never guess that I would go to New York and model at 13, but I did it. I went over, I was just bold enough. And my father always told me, you know, you can do anything you want, Martha, just do it well. And he was the best voice for me because he gave me that empowerment and that self-confidence. So I went to New York and got jobs modeling. At first, I started on weekends at fashion houses, you know, doing the showroom modeling. And then Bonwit Teller, I got to do bridal on the weekends. And I had to fit it into my everyday, high school. I was in high school by then. And then I started to do commercials, and that really kind of changed everything, because commercials in those days really paid a lot of money. It paid for my entire college education at Barnard College. Barnard they gave me a very small scholarship. NYU gave me a full scholarship, and Barnard only gave me a partial, but my modeling offset all that. And my parents couldn't afford to educate us, and we all had to work. But we were go-getters. And it was fun, and I taught other people how to do it at the same time. Many of my classmates started to ask me how to do stuff, and teaching that was the family occupation. Both parents had been teachers.
Yeah, the consummate teacher, constantly learning from you. So from this catering business in Connecticut, you then built an empire that included books, magazines, TV, radio, a paint line, a furniture line. We actually still have 3 of your nickel beds.
Before that was stockbroker, remember?
Well, first stockbroker, but I'm now jumping to the MSLO,
right.
Martha. Stockbroker to begin with, and wisely got out of that to build this empire, if I may say, as a former banker. You then shocked people when you launched your line in Kmart, which was brilliant for Kmart, brilliant for you, but at the time it was like, Kmart? Martha Stewart, so high end. For all the entrepreneurs in this room, all the entrepreneurs and creators, what's the most important lesson or the guiding principle for you that enabled you to build this extraordinary business and reach?
Well, that original contract with Kmart at the time, it was hard to believe, was the largest retailer in America. Walmart was still small, Target was a blip on the screen, and it was the place to go. And I had a lawyer husband who was very smart, and he wrote a very good contract with very good advances and very good royalties at Kmart. I mean, they had a few other kind of influencer types. Jacqueline Smith was doing some stuff for them. Some other celebrities were doing things, but nobody was really designing the product like I wanted to design. And they allowed me, with my company, Martha Stewart Living, to design product. And they told me, well, you know, towels, I wanted to do towels, I wanted to do housewares. And they said, towels in America, our customers only buy black, maroon, dark green, and navy blue, because they don't wash their laundry very often. And I said, well, that's ridiculous. So I made them make white and pastels, beautiful pinks and blues and greens. And the best-selling towel, the first season out, was white. And so I got to prove to them that I sort of knew what I was talking about, or at least thinking about. And it built, within 3 years, we were at $1.6 billion in sales, which was a big brand. You know, and they spent the money. They spent $22 million on advertising. It was the first time that I had ever been able to create ads for my products. And I was so excited about it. We had a really great producer, Wee David, his name was. He was a very short Australian guy or English guy, and David Metcalf, and he created beautiful ads, which are still so persuasive. If I could just run those ads again now, maybe I could, on YouTube. Maybe
Absolutely.
think about it. Where's our YouTube guy?
Where's Neil?
We could sell a whole lot more sheets.
But I think there are two messages in there. First, the number of people who said, Kmart, that's not high-end. Martha's high-end, and you said, I got what I got. And when then Kmart telling you that's not the right product, and you're like, I'm going with what I want to go.
I looked high-end. I exuded high-end. I was middle class all the way. I grew up, I was a little girl from Nutley, New Jersey. You know, 3 bedrooms, 8 people in a 3-bedroom house. And we ate well, we entertained nicely, but nothing fancy. We had 1 car, you know, we walked to school, you know, and we earned our own.
So I love the comment you made, we heard it here in the video, that I've always looked for voids. What does not exist, what should exist, and what can I do to help fill the void? And in many respects, that is the Google ethos. We've always said, Larry Page said this, we should be building great things that don't exist. So what was a wow moment for you when you're like, wow, I did fill a void that didn't exist?
I don't know if I got that from him or from me. I think maybe he got that from me. I don't.
Yeah, I think so. We came after. Yeah, that's true.
But no, filling a void for me was I always looked around me and said, what do my friends need? And one thing and what do I need? As a young housewife with a child in a suburb, Westport, Connecticut, what do I need? This is after I left Wall Street. And I was catering. Catering is a difficult, really, really hard business. You're building a restaurant every night, you're breaking it down every night, you're dragging food around in cars in the back of Suburbans, and it's a horrible, horrible job. If any caterers, I feel sorry for us. But it was the way. It was a very nice way for me to realize that what was missing was a book telling people how to entertain, take care of their friends, take care of their families. So I got the idea to write that first book, 1982, called Entertaining. I'm now working on my 104th book called Let Me Entertain You, which will be my autobiography telling this whole gruesome story, but it's a fun story. But entertaining really changed the approach to doing cookbooks, and because it was a picture book, beautiful photographs, a beautiful storybook, and very good recipes. And it's went into many, many dozens of printings. And because of this documentary that came out last year called Martha on Netflix.
Which if you haven't seen, you've got to watch it. It's amazing.
Well, that has been watched by quite a few 100 million people, according to Netflix. And it's still up there on the charts, which is exciting. Children want those entertaining books, and young people want to see what that book is really about. So we're doing a facsimile this year of that book.
You are a fountain of new ideas, like constantly coming up with extraordinary new ideas. And you may tell me I'm wrong to think this, but I think that part of success is knowing what not to do as much as what to do. And I've seen you walk down the hall when we were working on the IPO, and you curate, like just amazingly.
Wasn't that fun, that IPO?
It was, you were amazing.
Ruth dragged me all over the world on the road trips. Oh my God.
Well, and it was amazing. Any venue we'd go to, everyone in the kitchen.
Mary Meeker, Kristen Feldman.
Everyone wanted her to sign the wall. I will never forget that. But what I was going to ask on curation is, what's the best advice you have with all of these ideas, how to prioritize or sequence, or how to ensure that you're focusing enough on the things you need to land before you go to the next?
You have to have knowledge of what's out in the market, first of all, and you're not going to want to make the same thing other people are making. Even though my newest product is skincare, which many, many, many people are making, I've joined up with a very astute dermatologist, an Indian doctor called Dr. Bonasali. We've worked together for 5 years working on our formulas, and I'm very excited about it. And that's something new and different for me, not so much for the world, but if we can make that really our formulas and our combinations of ingredients make a difference in skin, I think we will have a great winner. And so far, so good. We launched a couple weeks ago, and we're doing very well. We're beating our expectations already, so that's nice. And it's nice to start another little business and be in a big business. And then, and now I'm working with another group of group of young men in their 30s, all software engineers, and a couple of finance guys, and we're starting an app for the homeowner. Is something which we're calling, I can't give you the name yet because it's not, but it's a very nice organizer for the home. and for the homeowner. It'll help make it easier. Not all of us can have home managers and property managers. I'm having a hard time keeping my property manager thinking, it's like really hard. So I'm doing all the thinking, so I want something to think for me and tell me when I have to do this and when I have to do that. So you're gonna all have this home organizer in about less than a year. And we've been funded, and talk about, we've been hearing today how easy money is to come by now, easier than it ever was in 1998 when we were raising money for Martha Stewart Living. Everybody was so difficult then.
Well, you did it in the scrappiest of ways. So I want to turn to another comment you had, that you hate the word reinvention and you prefer evolution. And I very much agree. I think we've talked a lot about AI here in the last couple of days. If we don't keep evolving, each one of us, it's a good thing. It will not be a good thing, to use one of your lines. So as I think about it, you've continued to evolve. I think evolving keeps us younger. And where do you get your inspiration? What's the best advice for being and staying at the cutting edge the way you
Well,
have?
coming to a conference like this, thank you very much for inviting me. Mohammed, I haven't heard Mohammed speak for a few years. It's so interesting to hear
Always.
him. And so invigorating. And I just can't wait to regurgitate in my mind what's going on here. And just to hear everybody who's participating is very interesting to me. I used to go to all the Wall Street Journal conferences down in Southern California, and maybe we're still in Southern California, but I don't have time to do that now. I'm so busy with all the stuff that I'm doing, and it's good to hear other people's ideas and other people's opinions of what's going on. But that said, it's just the talk about evolution and reinvention. Reinventing is just sort of regurgitating the old thing. Evolving is growing that old thing into something new and more vibrant and maybe more fabulous, more delicious. You can evolve a recipe. To reinvent a recipe is just like rehashing it. So I don't want to rehash. I really, really, really want to evolve.
What are you most proud of that goes into this evolve curve?
Me. I'm healthy.
I love that.
No, I'm healthy. I'm long-lived. I can keep up with the grandchildren. You can
be a swimsuit model.
I know who all the performers are. I know who the soccer players are. I have to do all that now. I have to go to all the concerts, and I have to go to all these stupid soccer games and baseball games. Liverpool, God, I have to go to Liverpool. But all of that is very, very inspiring for aging beautifully. And Eric Topol, wherever he is Eric here? I love your book, Super Agers, and I live by that. I mean, I could have written that chapter where he writes all the 10 things that you have to do to super age. And all of this is very exciting.
Okay, so you've super aged super well. What's the best advice you would give us for super aging super well?
Exercise, eating very well.
Which we're going to do at lunch.
Working, never stop working, never. Don't even think about stopping work. I mean, what are you going to do if you're not working? Be outdoors. Eric's main thing is to commune with the outdoors. So I commune big time. I live on a 150-acre farm in Bedford, and I commute to New York every day. But I am outside all the time, growing things, planting thousands of trees, and doing all the fun stuff.
Exhibit A.
Yeah, it's so gorgeous. But that's what, it's also keeping in touch with the younger people.
Totally agree.
Keeping in touch with what's going on. I adopt technology as it comes along. The reason I'm doing this home organizer is because I really want to know what AI can do for me. And so I can argue with my grandchildren who hate AI at the present time, 13 and 14. They don't like AI. But I'm arguing with them every single day that it may be a good thing if it evolves correctly.
So speaking of fun things, Snoop Dogg, we need to talk about Snoop Dogg. Your partnership, obviously very expected for all of us. A lot of great videos on YouTube. It's super fun. It's been a
Snoop Dogg increased viewership for the Olympics by 7%. How much was it? 7%? No, 70%, or something's huge.
7% of a big number is big.
700%. Come on, you know that. My agent is sitting.
By a lot.
Okay, by a lot. And so he's going back to the Winter Olympics, and I'm joining him in Milan. We're going to do ice skating. I'm so excited. And we also have joined up on gin, on a fabulous new gin designed by Snoop and Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine and me. And it's a beautiful bottle and a tasty gin. And I am now an expert in gin drinks.
I need you to do a tequila too.
And no tequila, gin.
Okay.
And it's called Still Gin. So this is our first commercial, and we're doing that on Thursday this week. So that'll be fun.
Okay, well, so my question, that was great. My question is, what have you learned most from him, and what has he learned most from you?
Well, he always says that I teach him how to learn. And, you know, he didn't go to college, and he's very bright and very smart, but he likes to learn. So I teach him how to learn, and he teaches me how to rap and do all kinds of He has not taught me how to smoke because I don't like smoke. So we're you know, now I'm learning gin.
Okay. You're also an amazing comedic stand-up, as we all saw from the Justin Bieber roast. Where did that part of Martha come from? There's so many parts that's what's amazing.
Well, you have to get loose to do that. The older you get, the easier it is to make jokes or be funny. And that Justin Bieber roast, nobody wanted me to do it. My company was very against it.
It's brilliant.
And they did
Has
not.
everyone seen it?
But something made me want to go to California. My family was all going to St. Bart's for whatever the holiday was, and I took a detour and went to California to do that. And then I got to sit next to Snoop for 10 hours, and I got to meet all those other comedians, and they were disgustingly dirty. I had no idea how foul-mouthed they all were going to be. My daughter warned me. She said, "Did you ever watch a roast?" And I hadn't watched any roast, so I didn't know. But I worked on that script, which was pretty dirty, my potty-mouthed myself. Where is our Alex? She knows about all that stuff. Alex Cooper, right?
Yes.
So anyway, I did it, and it really changed the demographic.
Totally.
People really liked it, and it was fun. It was fun, and it's gone on from there.
So your motto, it's a good thing. How has your definition of a good thing changed over time?
Well, it used to be just a simple thing like painting the handle of your garden tools orange so that you didn't lose them in the garden. You know, you could leave a cultivator in the garden and you wouldn't lose it. But now I keep thinking every day of so many things that are called good things. And but one thing is drying your shower after you take the shower with your bath towel. Just dry it all down so it doesn't get mildew and all that, you know. And if only I could tell everybody to do that. And then you have to think, well, you know, a lot of people use that same bath towel all week long. They hang it up after they've dried themselves. They're not going to dry their dirty shower. And so what are they going to dry their shower with? I mean, it goes on like that. That's how I have to think. I have to be thorough.
What about as it relates to...
You all get that.
Yeah. All right.
How do you dry your showers? Do you use a squeegee? Oh, but that's a glass shower. If you have a tile shower, squeegees don't work so well.
What about...
And I have housekeepers who wash my towels, and I use like 3 towels after every shower, so I can do that.
What about it's a good thing as it relates to all that you're doing in your life? As we are thinking, we had a great discussion yesterday about how do we define what is success for us personally? What is it? And how has that evolved?
Success for me is having like a happy home life, something that you enjoy waking up to. If you sleep, I don't sleep very much, so it's like hard to think that way sometimes. But to enjoy the surroundings. I don't have a lot. I'm not a spendthrift, so I don't buy a lot of fancy things. But I enjoy nice things. I enjoy animals. I just adopted 2 new Friesians from starvation in Vermont. That gives me a lot of pleasure. And adding to my other 5 Friesians, and that I only ride once a week, so it's kind of...
I'm sorry, what did you call this?
Friesian horses, these giant, big black horses.
Everyone knew that, I'm sure.
Friesians. Yeah. And you know, it's just a quality of life. And being able to continue to do what I think are good things, being philanthropic as much as I can be, going to jail in West Virginia, Mr. Manchin's state, and he never came to visit me, by the way. And his daughter said that he regretted not having come to visit me. Other people came to visit me, nice people. I just think it's that prevents me from being as philanthropic as I would have been. But my Center for Living, Eric Topol, again, is devoted to the outpatient care of everybody over 65 that wants to get really good geriatric care at Mount Sinai Hospital. So those are the kinds of things I try to support.
So I always think that the most miserable experiences we've had in life, there's some silver lining that makes us better. And you just talked about one.
You are a Pollyanna.
No, it actually, I like having had cancer, something good has to come out of that hellhole. So,
Yeah.
right? So we've
Well,
both
yes.
been in our own little hellhole.
I have not gone through anything as bad as you have gone through, my dear.
So as you look to the next, whatever evolution chapter that is, what lesson do you draw and what do you think of as the most exciting next thing that you want to do?
Well, it's not exciting, it's hope. My next big thing is hope for the future. The hope that we can calm down the hideous elements that are fomenting all around us and try to solve many of the world's problems and get on with developing and with creating and even with space travel. I don't care if we go to the moon. I think it'd be nice to go to the moon, but if we can at least try to do that in a nice world. I'm not a Pollyanna either. I know how difficult it is to work with megalomaniacs and people who think they own everything. It's not the right way to be.
I want to double click on that because one of the many amazing things you've done is you've taught so many of us so many things over so many years. Like I am someone who, artistic bone cooking, my kids would make Martha Stewart Christmas ornaments and it was the pride and joy. It made me feel like I was an artist. You inspired all of us. So on that super important point of hope and your vision for what the world is, what are you going to do, focus on that will actually get us to that position?
That's a very hard question. I just work on that each and every day and try to encourage people to be creative. I've had so many, actually several thousand people work with me over the last few years, last 40 years. And I'm proud of almost every single one of them at what they've accomplished. They've gone off from our magazine. Magazines are slowly closing down. Martha Stewart Living magazine is only now a 4 times a year special issue. It's no longer a monthly issue that people look forward to. But those people who worked on that magazine are all doing creative, excellent, inventive and innovative things. And that's what I hope. I just hope that we can continue to evolve a good, creative workforce.
I want to say thank you. You have been so generous throughout your life, teaching all of us so much and making us better and able to do things that we never thought we could do. So thank you for joining us
And thank you,
today.
everybody.
Thank you so much.